Good morning. So today is Thursday, May 18th, 2017, and I apologize for the driving, but I have a really busy day today, and so this is the best time for me to do this. So I wanted to make a quick video on sleep training. So just a little background. I have a 10-and-a-half-month-old, and pretty much since birth he has been sleeping right next to me in our bed. Initially I was exclusively pumping, so I would pump the milk and then give the milk to him in a bottle, and I exclusively did that for several months. I would say maybe at least 4 months, if not a little bit longer. I don't know the exact date. And the reason I did that is because I couldn't get him to latch on, but I still really wanted him to get the breast milk. And then when he was around 4 or 5 months, somewhere around there, I just was like, hey, I'm going to try breastfeeding. So we did that, and he instantly took to it at that point. And I realized at night that was actually really beneficial, and I was going to get more sleep because of that. Instead of getting up, leaving the room, making a bottle, coming back, and eventually I couldn't do that because, he's able to roll over. I can't leave the room to go make a bottle. So I made the choice to start breastfeeding him at night, and I was able to get a little bit more sleep because I could put him on and he would fall asleep. When he was done, I would fall asleep. It all worked out. Well, babies, young babies, newborns, they wake up, they can wake up every hour to 2 hours, and, they grow out of that as they get, to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever months old. And, Juna is his name. He never grew out of that. So he was still waking up like every hour and a half to 2 hours to nurse. I had done some research and talked to some people that, have had similar situations, and what I learned is that babies have this incredible sense of smell, and sleeping right next to me, Juna could smell the milk. So during his sleep cycles, when he would change from one cycle to the next, instead of, learning to teach himself to go back to sleep to self-soothe, he would be awake enough to know, hey, I can smell my mommy, I can smell my mommy's milk, and he would fuss and cry, and I enabled that by putting him on the breast and breastfeeding him. So we did that for several months too, and it's gotten to the point where it's just exhausting. I mean, he hasn't been waking up every hour and a half anymore, so it's really, every 3 hours maybe right now. But we're to the point where I need to sleep through the night. I work full-time, and I have 2 older children as well. I have a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I noticed that the lack of sleep, or the lack of consistent sleep, was really affecting my mental capacity, especially at work. I'm not being able to comprehend, semi-complex tasks, which normally were not a problem at all. And I'm forgetting things all the time. And I really think it's just related to lack of sleep. So I, did some research online. I talked to some friends that have done sleep training, and up every couple hours at night to nurse. And that comment kind of just sealed the deal for me. I was like, okay, Juna's 10 and a half months now. There is no way I can survive this for another year and a half doing what we're doing. And like, bless that mama's heart that is still doing that at 2.5 years old, or almost 2 years old. So a couple weeks ago, I think it was April 18th, I decided to do some sleep training. So I waited till Friday and we put him down. I didn't do any kind of bedtime routine. That can be difficult, in my opinion, when you have more other children that you're taking care of as well. My husband goes to school at night, a lot of the nights working on his master's, and it's difficult, just me and the 3 kids and trying to get into a routine with the baby. But so at that point I didn't start any kind of routine, but I did put him down at 8 o'clock, I believe it was, and he cried pretty, like really crying, for a good hour and a half, I think, total, until he actually fell asleep in his crib. Because at that point he had never slept away from me before, so that was the very first time he had slept away from me, especially out of the room, in his own room. And I noticed kind of right off the bat that when we checked on him, that it would just almost make him more mad. And I had read there's the method where you check on him at 3 minutes and 5 minutes and 10 minutes, but I was realizing that all that was doing was just making him so frustrated because that his mama was standing right next to him and his mama is not picking him up. So we decided to do 15-minute check intervals, and so we did several of those throughout that hour and a half period, and then he did fall asleep. And I believe the first night he woke up once during the night, and I kind of had to repeat that same process again, where I would go in every 15 minutes and check on him, and then he fell back asleep. And then the next night, I believe night 2, when I put him down, he slept through the night. So I think it was from like 8 o'clock in the evening to I think it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, which was amazing. But at the same time, I feel like at that point, like I had to sleep train myself too, because I was so paranoid about him not being right next to me. Is he breathing? Is he too cold? Like everything. I think I slept worse actually, those first few nights. And so we started on that Friday. He slept through the night, Saturday, and I think even Sunday. He might have gone up once the Monday night. And then, if I remember correctly, because this was a few weeks ago, he had like a little fever and he started to get sick, and I just could not put him in a different room away from me with a fever. So I brought him back into bed with me, and because he was right next to me, he would wake up because he could still smell the milk. And he is on formula and breast milk now, so I don't have as much milk, but I think he can still smell what I do have. And he would wake up, but I didn't want to start that habit with, soothing him back breast milk. So I figured, okay, we'll transition. So I gave him bottled. So for the last, week or so, week and a half maybe, he's been waking up 3 times a night, and I've been giving him a bottle. Now, I know at 10 and a half months old, he does not need to be eating 3 times a night, 4-ounce bottles of formula. So last night, which was May 17th, 2017, I decided to try round 2 of sleep training, and it was pretty successful, I think. I was a little worried that because we've already been through this, he would know that I will come pick him up, because towards the end of the first round, I had given in and went and picked him up a couple of the nights. The last couple of nights I went and picked him up when he was crying and took him into the bed. So I was really nervous that this was going to be horrendous round 2 because I felt like I taught him that I will go pick him up. So last night I put him to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and he went to sleep at 8:44 or 8:45. So during that 45 minutes, I checked on him every 15 minutes, and the first 2 times I went in there, I laid him, he was standing up crying in his crib. I laid him back down, I covered him with his blankie, I gave him his binky, I told him that I loved him and that it was night time, and then I left the room. So I didn't spend maybe 2 minutes max that I spent in the room with him. And then I also decided to start a bedtime routine. So before I put him down at 8, so we did I gave him a bath, we didn't read a story. I gave him a bath, then we got him dressed in his jammies, I made him a bottle of formula, I fed him his bottle, and then sang him a little song, said our prayers, and put him in the bed. So that was our routine, and that's probably what I'm going to stick with now at bedtime, because I have every sleep training video, book that I've seen. Apparently it's extremely important to have some kind of bedtime routine right before you put him down, so baby knows that bedtime's coming. So that's what we're going to do with that. So he finally fell asleep at 8:45. So it took him 45 minutes night 1 to fall asleep on round 2. And then he woke up at, I don't know, I'd have to look, but I think he woke up around 11:15 in the evening. And again, I had to check on him a couple times, but he did go back to sleep. I would just go in there I think I did 15 minute. I think I had to check on him once, and I put him down to sleep, covered him with his blankie, gave him his binky, and then he did stand up crying again, but eventually he laid back down to sleep. I think that one took him about 15 minutes to go back to sleep, and then he woke up again at 3:55 in the morning, or at least that's when I noticed he was awake, because he wasn't crying, which was very shocking to me. I woke up and looked at the baby monitor and just noticed he was just standing in his crib. He would make a little fuss sound here or there, but he wasn't actually crying. And so I decided not to go in there and do the 15-minute checks, because he seemed pretty okay. So I noticed he was up at 3:55, and what he kept doing is he was just kind of stand, and then he'd lay down, he'd rest his little head, and then I thought he'd be asleep, and then he'd pop back up a few minutes later. And so he did that for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then he finally went back to sleep at 4:20 in the morning. And then we got up for the day, so he woke up at 5:45 in the morning this morning, which is actually perfect timing, because that's pretty much when we get up anyway to get ready the other older 2 for school. So I'd say night 1 was pretty successful. I'm a little nervous about night 2, so we will see. I will do another video. I'm going to try and do one every night for the first week. So if you have any questions about what we're doing or how I handled a certain situation, I'd be more than happy to answer those. The reason I decided to do this video is a lot of the videos that I watched on here on sleep training, a lot of the moms only focused on the bedtime situation, not what they're doing when the baby wakes up in the middle of the night, because to me that's the harder part. At bedtime when I put Juna down, I'm still wide awake at that point, and to me it's a lot easier, and I can convince myself I'm doing this for his benefit. I'm trying to teach him how to self-soothe. I'm trying to teach him how to put himself to sleep. So it was a lot easier for me to comprehend why I'm doing what I'm doing, why he's crying, that he's perfectly fine at 8 o'clock at night versus, 11, anytime between like 11 and 3 in the morning, where I'm woken up out of a sleep, and here I hear my baby crying, I need to go rescue him type of thing. And it was a lot harder for me to convince myself that he's fine in the middle of the night versus at bedtime. So I wanted to make this video to give some other mothers out there another option to watch and hear what I've done in the middle of the night, because I didn't think that there was a lot of information out there as far as experiences on that. So I will hopefully post another video tomorrow with night 2 for tonight, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks guys, bye.